Welcome to part 8 of our Advanced AI series. In this episode, we are keeping things fast. We will reuse our modular health component, connect projectile damage from the enemy AI, create a simple HUD health bar, update it when the player takes damage, and detect when the player dies. By the end, our enemy shooting system will finally affect the player's actual health. Let's get started. Open the content drawer, then open the third-person folder and go into Blueprints. From here, open BP third-person character. Now we are going to add our existing BP health components to the player. If you remember, in the basic AI shooting game series, we created a full episode called Modular Health System in Unreal Engine 5, where we built this as a reusable actor component. You do not have to use this exact component. You can use your own health system if you already have one. I am not going to rebuild the entire health system again in this series, so I will reuse the component we already created. This is exactly why building systems as modular components is useful. We can simply drop the same health logic into another actor and keep working. If you have not watched the basic AI series yet, I strongly recommend watching it before continuing with the advanced AI series, especially if you want to understand how this component works internally. In the Components panel on the left, click Add and add BP Health Components. Select the component, then in the Details panel, set HP to 100 and max HP to 100. Set health percentage to 1. This value works from 0 to 1, so 1 represents full health, while something like 0.9 represents 90% health. We designed it this way because it connects very easily to a progress bar when we create the health bar in our HUD. Finally, compile and save the blueprint. Open the content drawer again, go back to the root of the content folder, then open the AI folder and open BP Bullet. This is the projectile blueprint we created in the previous video. In the event graph, find the onComponent Begin Overlap event. We previously used a print text node here to debug the projectile and make sure the overlap was working. We do not need that anymore, so remove the debug section and clean up the graph. Now drag from Other Actor and search for Get Component by Class. For the component class, select BP Health Component. With this node, whenever the bullet overlaps with an actor, we check whether that actor contains our health component. This means the bullet does not need to know exactly what type of actor it hit. As long as that actor has the health component, it can receive damage. There are other ways we could do this. For example, we could cast directly to BP third-person character and access the health component from there. We could also use a blueprint interface, similar to what we used for the shooting system in the previous video. But for this setup, we are going to use Get Component by Class. It keeps the projectile more reusable and also gives us a chance to use another common way of communicating between blueprints. Now drag from the return value and add the isValid node with the question mark. This is important because if the actor does not have our health component, the return value will not be valid. So we check it first before trying to send any damage. From the isValid execution output, continue into our damage logic. Drag again from the return value of Get Component by Class and search for Receive Damage. Connect it after isValid. For the amount, set it to something like 10. Now, whenever the bullet overlaps with an actor that has our health component, it will send 10 points of damage to that component. If the actor does not have the component, nothing happens. Compile and save the blueprint. Now let's create a simple health bar so we can actually see the player's health changing when the enemy shoots us. Open the content drawer, go back to the root of the content folder, and open the UI folder. In here, I already have WBP HUD from the previous series. If you do not have this widget, you can simply create a new widget blueprint and follow the same steps. Open WBP HUD, then from the palette panel, search for Progress Bar and drag it into the canvas. Place it wherever you want. I'm going to keep mine at the bottom left of the screen. Select the progress bar and rename it to health bar. Make sure isVariable is enabled because later we need to access this progress bar and change its value from our blueprint logic. Resize it however you like, then set its anchor to the bottom left so it stays in the correct position on different screen sizes. For the visual style, I'm going to change the bar color to something like green. You can obviously style this however you want. Under the progress settings, set % to 1. Remember, our health percentage uses values between 0 and 1, so 1 represents full health. Compile and save the widget. Now go back to BP third-person character and find Event Begin Play. We already create WBP HUD here and add it to the viewport. What we need now is a reference to that created widget. Right-click the return value from Create WBP HUD widget and choose Promote to Variable. Name this variable HUD or anything that clearly reminds you that this is the player interface we are going to work with. Keeping this reference means we can easily access our health bar from the character and update it whenever the health component changes. Compile and save the blueprint. Now find some empty space in BP third-person character. Somewhere below our begin play logic is fine. Select BP health component from the components panel first. Then, in the details panel, scroll down to the events section and click the add button next to on health changed. This will automatically create the correct on health changed event in the event graph for this specific health component. This event comes from the event dispatcher we created inside our health component. You can think of the dispatcher like a broadcast. Whenever something changes the health inside that component, it sends out a message saying that the health has changed, and anything listening to this event can react to it. In our case, we are going to use that event to update the health bar on the screen. Drag the HUD variable into the graph, drag from it, and get the health bar. From the health bar, drag out and search for set %. Now drag our BP health components preference into the graph, then get health percentage from it, and connect that value to in %. So whenever the health component tells us that the health has changed, we immediately take the new health percentage and update the progress bar. Because both values use the same 0 to 1 range, we do not need any extra conversion here. Now let's also check whether the player has died. From BP health components, get the died boolean and connect it to the condition of a branch. Connect the execution after set % into this branch. From the true output, add a print string and write something like player died. For now, this is just a simple way to confirm that our health reached 0 and the character is considered dead. In the next episode, we are going to replace this debug message with the actual death behavior and ragdoll. Compile and save the blueprint. Now it is time to test everything and make sure our health system and HUD are working correctly. Click the play button, then move your character into a good position in front of the enemy AI so it can detect you and start shooting. Now watch the health bar while the projectiles hit the player. As you can see, every successful hit reduces our health and the progress bar updates immediately using the health percentage from our health component. Once the health reaches 0, we also get the player died message, which confirms that our death state is working correctly. Perfect. Our basic health and damage flow is now connected to the enemy shooting system. Of course, this AI still needs a lot of tuning before I would call it production ready, but for this tutorial series, we now have the important foundation working. If this series is helping you, do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also support the channel by joining as a member or using the Super Thanks button. That support also helps me understand whether you want me to keep pushing this series further. In the next video, we are going to handle the actual player death. We will enable ragdoll, disable the character, and make the enemy AI stop attacking and leave the body alone.